I used to work night shifts at this rundown motel off a deserted highway, the kind of place where people only stop if they have no other choice. One night, I was on shift with my coworker, as we'd take turns for smoke breaks, so someone was always at the front desk. I went out for mine, and when I got back, stepped out for his. As I settled back in, I noticed a new entry in the check-in register. A guest named Albert had checked into room 7. The handwriting was neat but old-fashioned, almost perfect. I figured S must have handled it while I was gone, so I didn't think much of it. A few minutes later, the phone at the desk rang. I picked it up, and on the other end, there was a man speaking in a low, shaky voice, barely above a whisper, like he was scared or out of breath. "Is anyone else staying here tonight?" he asked, sounding genuinely uneasy. I glanced outside at the empty parking lot, trying to reassure him. "No, sir," I said, keeping my voice steady. "You're the only guest we've got right now." There was a long and comfortable silence before he spoke again, his voice now trembling. "Then why is there someone standing at the foot of my bed?" My heart was racing as I grabbed the master key and sprinted to room 7. I knocked hard, but there was no answer, just silence. Taking a deep breath, I unlocked the door and stepped inside. A blast of cold air hit me instantly, sending a shiver down my spine, like I had walked straight into a freezer. I turned on the lights, and to my surprise, the room was completely empty and untouched. The bed was perfectly made, and the curtains were drawn, as if no one had been there at all. Feeling uneasy, I called out, "Hello, is anyone in here?" My voice echoed slightly, and I moved cautiously further into the room. As I walked toward the foot of the bed, I noticed something that made my heart skip a beat, a pair of muddy footprints on the carpet. They didn't lead in from anywhere, just a prints near the foot of the bed, like someone had stood there and vanished. Panic set in as I hesitated, glancing around the room. Just then, the phone on the nightstand rang loudly, jolting me. I picked up the phone with a shaky hand, and the lights began to flicker violently, casting erratic shadows. All I could hear on the other end was heavy breathing. The sound was so close, like it was right next to me. Terrified, I threw the phone down and bolted out of the room, sprinting back to the front desk. S was there, staring at me with a look of complete confusion. "Where the hell have you been for the last 15 minutes?" he asked with concern. Still shaking, I stammered out the story about Albert's call, the freezing room, the flickering lights, and the eerie footprints. S's expression shifted to fear. "No one checked in while you were outside. I've been here the whole time, and there's no one in room 7. That room hasn't been booked for days." A cold dread settled over me as I glanced back at the register. The name Albert had vanished.